Welcome back to Miles Edgeworth Investigations. I'm Luigi Van 64D. Miss Tenero is now currently being held for the murder of Mr. Hicks, but I don't think that's accurate. So this is the cargo hold. It's so big! Please act professional. This plane is a special model. It is both a super large cargo hold and an extra luxurious first-class seating. So this is the real scene of the murder? There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Ooh, I just love pushing buttons on elevators, crosswalk signs, no signals. Here, you just give it a try, sir. Go on, push it. The elevator is currently stopped at the first floor, Detective. It can't move. Oh yeah. I guess that would happen if you push it now. Well, nothing would happen normally anyway with that special key card. Both the door and the attendant's room and the elevator's control panels require a key card, which makes it impossible for a passenger to come down here. All sorts of boxes are piled up here. This one says flammable. And this one, it says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. Just what kind of operation is this airline running? Have you noticed anything strange happening around here? No, sir. Haven't noticed a thing. I'm not sure that he meant to sound so oblivious. What's this? What's this suitcase, pal? As the victims checked in, sir. But this suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he'd mind if we take a closer look. It's not down to the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? There's a photo of Ms. Von Carmen, sir. It looks like a profile on Francisca. Odd. Why would Mr. Hicks have had a file on her? That is bizarre. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. Sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of that story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. And I will leave it at that. I didn't know this plane was capable of carrying such large pieces of cargo. This thing's as tall as two of you on top of each other, sir. It'd probably take 20 of you to cover the entire surface of this monstrosity. What, really? I guess that sounds about right. There's really no need to take that throwaway estimate seriously, Detective. Interesting. Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth! It's like an all-you-can-use suitcase affair. Must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones the company is planning to dispose of after this flight is over. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy! Oh? Why not purchase one then? I'm sure it will bring you much happiness. You think so? Maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200! I think I'll pass. And Mr. Tenero wonders why they didn't sell. You'd need 2 jobs to buy one. How did she purchase them anyway? It definitely looks like one is missing. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. Huh. You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began a direct investigation. It seems to me that you're already here at the airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. Why this airport? I've been following a very large and involved governmental level international crime, but it's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it was decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Interpol? Interpol is involved? It's a top secret operation, so I can't really tell you any more than I already have. Fair enough. Now I need to collect the dots here a moment. Broken glasses. These glass shards definitely make sense. Because together, I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from the pair of glasses. The victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of the glasses' lenses. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. I believe these two are linked as well. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Franziska? Oh, I know! I bet he's a big fan of Ms. Von Karma, sir. Franziska said that she had come to the airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming in and had followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely that Mr. Hicks was in actuality Interpol Agent Hicks. I think Franziska has some explaining to do. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you in the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him, so he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks. Isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Smuggling ring? He went undercover to investigate this crime. And it was I who put him on the case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I had never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. But what was he doing down here, sir? It's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in a suitcase. Get down to get it. Ah! Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason. Of that, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Franziska, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately, I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see. But this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with the person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. The glass fragments of his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases, and they entered the elevator. But while they were writing it up, the elevator hit the patch of turbulence. Because of that intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks' body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. Which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. That's pretty thorough, I believe. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know where she's going with us. I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth. But the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Tenero. And how is that? If it was a crew member, anyone of them could have shown Agent Hicks the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Tenero. I'd say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. And allow me to demonstrate. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks the cargo hold. Hold it! That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Meal or even the captain. Don't be a fool! A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is like a horse without a rider, crop in hand. Much like Scruffy over there. Ah! I can't disagree with her on that. Such a gumshoe does always need a guiding hand. Very well, then what about the other flight attendant, Miss Meal? I thought you might ask about her. But that point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here.
Hold it!
But it's highly likely the key card was stolen from Miss Tenero. Objection! It's highly likely. Is that possibility the best you can come up with? And you call yourself a disciple of my father? Huh! Ugh. Yes, well, while I don't have any evidence, Be quiet! You're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Tenero, you know. It's not just the key card that gives her away. You're talking about the murder weapon, that Mr. Ifly piggy bank? Yes! She is also the only person with the key to open the display case. Further, there's the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderer's bank.
Hold it!
But that is a fake.
Objection!
Stop right there, Mouse Edgeworth! You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as a murder weapon. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of this weapon? Well, we searched the piggy bank and the body, which means... I think we should examine the crime scene in more detail. We might turn up the murder weapon if we search all over the cargo and luggage. Did you think I hadn't thought of that? Even now, we're searching through them. But we haven't found anything that's even closely resembles a murder weapon. Alright then. I suppose we should examine something else. Perhaps the body. Francisca, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions. Oh, was I? Yes. We don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks's head is consistent with the murder weapon? Scruffy! Yes, sir! Contact the medical examiner's office at once! I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks's autopsy. Yes, sir! We got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Oh? What is it, detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said they already know there's one thing for sure. Report! Ha! Now! Doc said it's one giant bruise of a beating on his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back? He was beaten over such a wide area? Well, I'd say maybe it's the sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir. What? Scruffy, what is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean? Well, that's, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, detective? Oh, well, they said that they were still looking into that, sir. Completely useless! Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there! Move yourself on my way! What is all that racket? That could only be... My luggage! My cargo! They're mine! I demand you return them to me! We're still investigating the cargo hold! Please understand, it's a little patience. Oh, there's no choice. Finally. Think you get... What do you... Let me have a choice with your strong force! Ah! You won't get past me! This is... Wait, that's it! That's what the whole thing has been about! Further, there's only a matter of the key in the display case that held the murderer's bank. After all, you know that we've been searching the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. Doc said it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. I understand it! The cause of death. The weapon that couldn't be found. That could only mean... How's that? So we can do this just a mere piggy bank. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is an extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. Because it's so big. Sizable weapon. We're looking for a sizable weapon, and a weapon that can't be found. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Francisca! What? What do you want? I found it, Francisca. I found the real murder weapon. You did? What? You really jumped? We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs. There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This is coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence. You aren't listening at all, are you? Come on then, show me this real murder weapon you speak of. Sure. This is the real murder weapon. You can see it right here.
Take that!
Concluded that this is the real weapon, I suppose. What is this supposed to mean, you fool? That was practice just now for when I would show you the real murder weapon. Why don't we add practice whippings to your routine as well? Duh! Thinking about the circumstance of the victim's death in a different way. A wide bruise running from the victim's shoulder, brought down to his mid-back. Focusing on what should cause such a large bruise in one strike. I believe I jumped the gun one more time. I do not have evidence to show. I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning, or a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me! What do you mean I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should phrase it with, that which caused Agent Hicks's death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I have figured out what was the real cause of death. Free fall. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back. And the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. But the murder happened inside this plane! I know. Are you claiming that there was some place in this plane he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, the answer had been right in front of us this entire time. You can't mean... Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold. What? Then, we're in trouble! We may have a second death on our hands, sirs. No, it should be fine. Hey, you! Tell me you're on dead, Bell. Quiet! Why are you screaming? Oh, he's alive! And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible the Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. The man is living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? It would have been Bourguignon pancake for sure, sir. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there. So there's no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now. But is there no proof that it was always there? As if there could have been a window of time when this giant box is not there. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show it? Possible the box was not always there. This photo.
Take that!
Doesn't this show sufficient probability to you? Why are you asking me? I was the one asking you! I think there's some possibility in that. Sir! No one was asking for opinions for the instant noodle crowd, Scruffy. I suppose this is where the phrase to be whipped by one's opponent came from. Tuah! Don't act as though you have nothing to do with this. Not answer the question. I suppose she's right. First I should reconsider all the information I have. I imagine that would work. Try to show the box is there. Sure. Transfer cargo.
Take that!
You refueled at the Republic of Zangfa? Yes, this flight has a short layover in Zangfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was the only transfer into the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question. Ah, it's labeled Zangfa Express! Correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zangfa. Now, what if the box in question was already loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not there in the cargo hold during the Europe Zangfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from when Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. Ah, but your theory is still very far-fetched. Allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. The first order of business is to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Let's begin. This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see, Aleph Red Statue. Never heard of it. Nor I. But all I care about is how we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Let's get investigating, sir. But look at! Do not go around touching my possessions without my permission. What? Don't rush up on me like that, pal. This belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can get from him. Since he is here causing trouble. Let's go a chat. I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc? Of course it is mine! I shipped a fine piece of art from Europe. The Aleph Red statue is worth 1 million cents. No, maybe much more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been a very large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, detective. How'd you do that? I feel like you're always getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Miss Edgeworth, so that 1 million cents. Is that in euros or in dollars? Does it really make a difference in our case? Mr. LeBlanc, is there a chance there's a chance your cargo is related to our murder case? I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer. It's a very valuable piece of art, so no! There'll be no touching! Valuable piece of art. I have a question. I've been wondering about this picture, so... Why don't you show me something of no value? Show me the bread first, and maybe we'll talk. He wants me to pay him before we'll comment on this? Let's go figure it out ourselves. If he's smuggling and that's a valuable piece of art, then perhaps... If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board at Zangfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if it might be a fake. What? You dare you say my art is fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't say such fantastical things! Those thieves would not dare. And the certification of my cargo right here. Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. Huh. I can't read this. What does it say? It says plain as day. The cargo was put onto a plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. This statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in the certificate. No, that's... Which means there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until we see the statue myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I'm right. I would've... I know I've seen this somewhere before. This is the Olive Red? It gives off such a feeling of art. You can practically smell it. Statue with a high amount of historical value. After it was unveiled at the Museum of Europe, I have brought it to this country to exhibit it. Fascinating. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous Alfred statue. What is it, Miss Edgeworth? Do you find something? Is there something wrong with this picture? We should examine it in more detail. His eyes made of some sort of gem? It's real nice shade of orange. For a sec, I couldn't tell they were jewels. Oh, but they kind of remind me of the eyes of a stray cat that lives near my house. Are those eyes supposed to be of this color? Is it possible the statue is a fake? What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth color. It kind of resembles like its owner's attitude is sex. You! What did you just say now? My clothing's hem is not to be stepped on by anyone. It's expensive for that to allow it to happen. Please forgive the trespasses of my subordinates. Why should I forgive if the dress passes? Unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it. It's on top of this cloth, which is from Zhengfa. Which means this definitely moved. There's a suitcase sit here, lined up in two pretty neat rows. Too bad for Miss Tenero, but this design is unmarketable. Why don't they sell them in the airport and have a bargain-based sale? Buy one, get one free. If you win a raffle, you get one more for free. How's those ideas, sir? I think even if they did that, everyone would lose. I just want to look at my organizer. Yep, it's a fake. Definitely is a fake. They replaced it. His eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, pretty. They remind me of sunset when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do. But it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in the field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. I don't care about sunsets! Focus detective, what color are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Oh, sir, they're red! As I thought, the statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc, what do you want? Do you know I'm a busy man? Let me give you 2 seconds for your answer. The Olive Red, I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It's the biggest trophy in the European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trip got started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. It sounds like this is going to be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you may have a heartfelt sympathy, but... What is it? Sympathy? For what? You'll see. I'd like you to compare the eyes. The large fellow with the pretty bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us! I meant the statue, either the statue in front of us or the one in this photo. Why the son of yelling? Now, sir. Oh! This is the photo of the statue that display at the museum in Europe. Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. A fake? I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake. There's supposed to be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zhengfa. I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradictions. this. It looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover. It kind of resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. Because he happens not to step on anyone. It's expensive for me to allow that to happen. Please forgive the trespassing my subordinate. We already did this. Anyway. Let's see. I feel this cloth is important. Alvarez a fake. Our dealer isn't looking too happy about it either, sir. Think at the bottom of this for his sake as well as mine. Over here. It says Zhangfa Express in the cloth, sir. Something is tugging at the corner of my mind, as though something's out of place. Nothing about this. This is weird, but this is weird, definitely. Because after all, there is clearly contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's a simple case of cargo cover getting stuck over another piece of cargo. That's not possible! But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo is brought on board at Zhangfa, there's no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zhangfa. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There is only one reason why. To secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe it. He had to do that mid-flight. We just easily inspected all the cargo after the plane landed. It may be true, however, you have it backwards, Francisca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane has landed, but he had a reason for coming down the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake in the airport. He would have been after the swap that occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally have fallen to the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone involved who is forging and modifying cargo certificates. That's a wrap. I guess the victim knew the real version of this is gonna get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold. A rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zhangfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhangfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer! Move the statue immediately! I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! Car, ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Aleph Red statue out of the way, we tested the area underneath it for luminol, and there was a reaction. I see. It was a reaction with luminol. Indication that there was blood in that spot. Ugh, can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. How do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? Easy. With a cloth. The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed on Zhangfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhangfa? There's no no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zangfa, then this becomes highly suspect. Well, she is right. She was the one who said he saw him. Recall Miss Mills' testimony about Agent Hicks in regards to when we departed Zangfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks wasn't alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir. But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Miller herself. And so we must ask her. And thus, this is the moment of truth. I'm Luigi Man 64D, and this was Miles Edgeworth Investigations. See you next time, we finally learn the truth.